A white person does something to a black person, but if a black person does something to another black person, we just sweep it under the rug. It's really not that big of a deal. It's going to be a whole bunch of people that make excuses as a result of it.
He's actually spitting facts here. If you look at the statistics, the majority of black people getting murdered are by other black people. And I'm not saying like it's 51. No, I'm saying the vast majority.
This is the first time I'm hearing this phrase on TikTok, but I could use context clues and understand what it is. So, funny story, I'm scrolling on TikTok, minding my own business, just getting lost in the videos, and a white woman pops up in my algorithm and it's titled Black Fatigue, and I'm like, this should be interesting. Now, this is a creator that I've really grown to respect their videos. Basically, in her video, she's calling out the black community for different ignorant things that we do. And it's not just her. I've seen a lot of white people on this app kind of come out. It's almost like raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by Regina George type of videos. And that's what they're doing toward black people. Here's the thing. The videos that I've personally seen is not racism. It's accountability. It's one of those to where they are tired. They are fed up to where they have opened their camera and they start confessing the things that agitate them about the black community. And because we have gotten to that point, you know who I blame? The black community. I mean, for one, the actions that they are mentioning is clearly from the black community.
So if you guys don't know what she's referring to this new term that's pretty, I guess it's more popular now. It's called black fatigue, where other races are pointing out that they're fatigued with, I don't really know, blackness, I guess. I don't really know. And I guess black tendencies. I don't know too much about this term. So let's not waste any more time and get right into it. I'm gonna be really real with y'all. Throughout the entirety of the time I've been on YouTube, I've always had one mantra, and it's cost me money, it's cost me subscribers, and to this day, it'll probably be the reason my channel never reaches the heights, and it's the mantra of the truth, objectivity. There are channels out there who will flat out lie to you. There are people out there who will lead you astray, but one thing my father has always taught me is to stand on integrity. I took that through YouTube, I took that through getting a master's degree in engineering. I always took that mantra. I'm standing on integrity and I'm standing on objectivity and the truth. And this is a big reason why I think you guys will really enjoy Ground News. If you don't know what Ground News is, it's basically a news site that has purely objective news, meaning that it tells you the literal bias of every single news story. And I'm not playing. It tells you the exact bias. And I don't do no sponsorships. I don't do them. But this is something that I genuinely believe you guys need to know about. I'm not playing. Let's look at an example. So let's look at this story that came out literally not that long ago. It's called Joe Biden blames Kamala Harris' laws on sexism and racism and rejects concerns about his age. So if you look at this site, this is what your page will look like. It will be a Ground News at the top. It will be a news story, and it will be all the coverage details. Make sure you check out the page at ground.news/LFR Jojo. It's going to show you what the center bias is, where former President Joe Biden gave his first major television interview since leaving office in January 2025 on ABC's The View, which is something that happened. That's just literally what happened. It also tells you a little more details about it, such as Biden addressed the Democrats' poor 2024 election, which is something we've already talked about so far in this process. We already knew that, Trump was probably going to win. Let's be honest. But one thing that's very important is that it shows you what the left is saying about this interview. The left is saying Joe Biden blames sexism and racism for Kamala Harris's election loss, stating that misogyny played a role and that Biden acknowledged taking responsibility for Donald Trump's re-election, remarking, "I was in charge and he won, so I take responsibility," basically making Biden look very, very good. Versus the right are saying former President Joe Biden expressed that he was not surprised Kamala Harris lost in the 24 election, attributing her defeat to sexism and racism. He defended Harris's qualifications, saying she is qualified to be president of the United States of America. Biden acknowledged the negative impact of COVID-19 on public attitudes, admitting that we underestimate the phenomenal negative impact that COVID had. One thing that's very important that I love that Ground News does is it doesn't even give you an opinion. It just gives you the objective truth of what both sides are saying. The right mentioned COVID-19. The left didn't even mention that at all, but the right made sure to mention it. The right also kind of put the blame more on Biden versus where the left made it seem that Biden was taking responsibility. And another thing Ground News shows, it shows every single article. It's 42 articles here about this thing. What other site will show you 42 articles about anything? It shows you Biden touts close relationship with Harris, but not surprised by her election loss. That's a left-leaning source. It shows you the factuality. It shows you all of that. And then it shows you the right. It said, Biden said on ABC's The View was a surprise Trump defeated his replacement Harris. It says Biden says Republicans took sexist route to beat Harris. And it shows you the factuality. It shows you everything. So one thing that's very important here is that ground news doesn't actually remove bias. That's not what they're doing here. They're showing you the truth. A lot of sites don't show you the truth. They don't care if you know the truth. They couldn't care less if you knew it was accurate and you didn't know it was accurate. So if you want access to ground news, you can scan the QR code on this video, or you can visit ground.news/LFR Jojo, where you can get 40% off the Vantage subscription, where you can get unlimited access to literally any news in the world. You can get unlimited access to it all. It's not just politics, it's sports, it's science, it's all that stuff. I don't do sponsorships, but y'all, this is different. Y'all need to know about ground news. They're built different over there. Anyways, let's get back to it.
Community. Black people in the comment sections are just like, this is racism, this is this, and this is this. I blame y'all. This is what happens when the black community cry wolf or cry racism in instances that's not racism, to where now we have a hard time knowing the difference between what is actually racism and what is actually accountability. We've allowed this to happen because we do not like being held accountable for some of the ignorance, some of the degeneracy, some of the just plain right foolishness that comes out of our community. We refuse to address it. And when we have people who address it, they are called coons. They are called like judgmental. And so now you have white people entering the chat and said, you know what? We're tired of it. We're tired of being called racist for holding y'all accountable to the ignorant things that's happening.
She cooked. I mean, she pretty much summed it up. And I can't tell you how many times that I've been called out of my name by people that look like me, or they call me a sellout for wanting better for the black community. And there's so many different times that I've seen people cry wolf, that I've seen people fake, that I've seen people look for a Justice League, that I've seen the sisterhood come to the rescue and the aid of people that actually a lot of them don't deserve it. Even the heroes that we celebrate and that we champion and that we get behind with these causes. And Black Lives Matters, which is in Marxist organization, and we start to think about the way that we vote in our communities and the fact that we don't necessarily take care of our neighborhoods, and a crime that is perpetuated is usually against us, but we don't come out to protest against that, and we don't hold the people that's in our communities accountable on that. We also know who the killers and the dealers and the people that are doing the worst in the community, but we refuse to work with the community. As a matter of fact, we say defund the police, but then we want justice and we want more funding to continue to do the things that's not best for us. Something got to give. Something has to change. Something has to evolve. And we can't keep, and that's why I've always said, running in the victim Olympics when we don't hold ourselves accountable. Furthermore, she hit upon a really good point, is you can't do something to other people that you don't hold yourself accountable for. For whatever reason, we've already calculated in our mind that it's okay for us to be racist. And when I say us, I'm talking culturally, obviously not individually. So myself, I don't rock with people based off of color. I rock with people based off of the content of their character, whether or not you're a good person. I've seen some incredibly good, awesome black people and some bad black people. But if I call out the bad black people, for whatever reason, it's not acceptable. Different cultures separate themselves from the trash within their cultures. I mean, when I was over in Tokyo.
So the whole heart of what he's saying is that we cannot ignore bad behavior in the black community and still expect other races to do the same as us. What I mean by that is black community has its issues, and it seems like we don't even acknowledge them. For example, he said a phrase that stuck with me. He said, all the killers and the dealers. What does that mean? If you go to a black neighborhood, stay around long enough, you're going to know who the biggest drug dealers in that neighborhood are. People know who they are. They're not mysteries. They're not hidden. You know who the killers are in this neighborhood. You know who the drug dealers are. It's not something that's like, oh, we don't know. We're trying to find out. No, people know. They just don't say anything. You know the kids who skip class every day, who go and sell drugs on the block. You know they are. They don't hide it. You know the bad spending habits you have. You know it. We know the bad things we have, and it's like when it comes to talking about actual issues in the black community, for some reason, and it always confused me. We talk about they're bringing up white people. They talk about white people as if white people are the biggest issue in the black community. It's strange. At one point, that could have been true, because if you go back to the civil rights movement or pre-civil rights, yes, that was literally true. But in 2025, this decade, this time period, that is objectively false, and we keep talking about it as if it's not true, and we don't even acknowledge issues that are actually hurting the black community. And it seems kind of hypocritical. It seems extremely hypocritical. It's almost as if we don't care that the black community is getting hurt. We only want to somehow punish white people for, I don't know. That's what it seems like. Because if you're only talking about them and they're looking at you like you're crazy, they're like, what? I don't even live in those neighborhoods. I don't know what you're talking about. They're like, I've never been racist. And you're like, yes, you have. It's a stupid battle, and the black community is steadily getting worse. Our reading levels are getting worse. Our financial standing is getting worse. Our marriage rates are getting worse. Everything's getting worse. And we still fighting with them like they're the ones causing it. So it's just stupid. It's a stupid debate. It's a stupid fight. But let's continue.
You could literally go to cities that they have been outcast from in order for them to be able to run a great city in a society, but we justify it. We justify all of the wrong. We justify all of the trash. And I'm telling you, I have never been called out of my name more to, obviously people sending crazy stuff online and death threats. None of that stuff ever happens in person. I'm going to just be honest with you. But online in general, I've never seen more hate than people that look like me. And so you can't even use the excuse of proximity in this situation, because this isn't things that are being done based off of people that live close to me, because the argument is always going to be, well, crime is done based off of proximity, but why is it so exponentially more within the black community? And please stop telling me that you want things to stop, but then we know the things and we know the people that are doing the worst in our communities, but we refuse to tell. And then we say the no snitch, and we embrace all of the worst songs, and we celebrate baby mama culture, and people keep attaching themselves to the worst things. And then when you say, hey, listen, I'm gonna be an example myself, this is me personally, I'm gonna be married for 20 years, I'm gonna take care of business, I'm gonna be on top of things, I'm also going to be a pillar in my community and do the things, I'm telling you, there is no shortage of people that's looking to come up, that's looking to make do a killing, make a lick off of me. Anytime you go back to the hood, you got to keep your head on a swivel. Why do we call ourselves the hood? Why is it okay for us to call white people out of their names, but then, because I am an advocate for freedom of speech, you get offended when a white person then calls you the same thing, or they address you how you address your sister, or they address you how you address your brother? You know what I'm saying? Why is it that people always want to cancel other people that they disagree with? Why is this? And I'm going to be honest with you. Some of it, a lot of it is cultural. And then the other part of it is a liberal mindset. We keep voting the way that we vote. We get people in based off of identity. We want representation. So you want to vote people in based off of color, and you don't know nothing about them. You know what I'm saying? If we say, hey, support black businesses, but white people then say support white businesses, then it's racist. Or any issue that happens in society, if it just so happen to be a white man or a black man, by default, it is a race issue. If a white person does something to a black person, but if a black person does something to another black person, we just sweep it under the rug. It's really not that big of a deal. It's going to be a whole bunch of people that make excuses as a result of it. And it's old. It is old. And if people stopped making race, Morgan Freeman was 100% right. He was 100% right.
He's actually spitting facts here. If you look at the statistics, the majority of black people getting murdered are by other black people. And I'm not saying like it's 51. No, I'm saying the vast majority. But you don't see no riots because of that. You don't see no riots. You don't see no people stepping in the streets because of that. I don't think you've ever, I will bet you've never seen anybody riot or protest because black on black crime. I know you haven't. I know you haven't. But you talk about white on black crime, even if it's not because of race, you're gonna see some riots. You're gonna see some things in the street, and it's performative to me. It's really performative. Because here I am, I actively try to help people and make people's lives better so they can live better lives. And not just in my community, just in general. I try my best, and people pretend like they care. They pretend like they actually want the best for the black community or the best for America, and they really don't. They really don't. It's a joke to them. To them, they're like, oh, I'm only gonna pop out when it's cool to pop out, when it's popular. To them, it's like a game. They don't even actually care about this. But nonetheless, let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know if you disagree or agree with me. My name is Jojo, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.